Hello everyone, good morning to all. So today we'll discuss about irrational numbers. In the previous we had studied about the number system, the different types of numbers which we have. Today we'll just focus ourselves only to the irrational numbers. So once again, what are irrational numbers? Irrational numbers are those numbers which cannot be written in the form P upon Q, where P and Q they are integers and Q is not equal to 0. So if the numbers they can be written in the form P upon Q, then they are real numbers. But if they cannot be written in this form P upon Q, where P and Q are integers and Q is not equal to 0, then they are considered to be irrational number. So overall, all the type of numbers they fall under the category real numbers. So if you are asked what are real numbers, real number is the combination or the group of rational and irrational numbers. Now let us move to the properties of irrational numbers. If suppose you are given one rational number and you have one irrational number. Now, first of all, sum of them. If you are adding a rational number to an irrational number, their sum will always be irrational. Example, if suppose you take the rational number say 2, irrational number suppose you take under root 2. Now the sum of these two, though it cannot be calculated, it will remain the same 2 plus under root 2, but it is to be considered as irrational number. Secondly, if you take the difference of a rational and an irrational number, if you take the difference, it means if you subtract them, then their difference will also be irrational. Whether you subtract rational from irrational or you subtract irrational from rational, the difference is to be irrational only. If you take the same numbers and you say you write it as 2 minus under root 2 or under root 2 minus 2, both the difference will be irrational. Next, if we take the product of them, product means to multiply. If you are multiplying an rational number with an irrational number, if you multiply both a rational with a irrational number, then again the product is to be irrational. The same numbers I take 2 multiplied by under root 2. It is 2 under root 2. So it is irrational. Now the last, if you divide them, means if you divide them and try to find the quotient, then if you divide a rational number by an irrational number or an irrational number with a rational number, that quotient is again to be irrational. Like 2 divided by under root 2 or under root 2 divided by 2. It is to remain irrational. So this was if you are having one rational number and one irrational number. But what is the case if both are irrational? Instead of taking one rational and one irrational number, if suppose you take both irrational numbers, suppose you are given two irrational numbers, Suppose there are two irrational numbers, first and second. Then what about their sum? Will it be irrational or will it be rational? Now here it can be irrational. See, when you are adding two irrational numbers, it may be irrational and it can also be a rational number. How it is? If suppose you have under root 2 and under root 3. Now these are two irrational numbers. If you add them, the sum is irrational. But if suppose your first number says 2 plus under root 2. Now this is your first number. It is an irrational number. 2 plus under root 2 is irrational. And the second one is say 4 minus under root 2. Again it is an irrational number. If you take the sum of these two, if you are adding them, 2 plus under root 2 plus 4 minus under root 2. So root 2 and root 2 plus minus will be cancelled out, it becomes 0. 2 plus 4 gives you 6. Now what type of number is this? Is it irrational? No, it is rational number. Hence we say that sum of two irrational numbers can be irrational and it can also be rational. Let's go to the difference now. Let's just cross check about the difference. If you take the difference, then will it be irrational or will it be rational? Now here the difference also depends upon the type of numbers they are, what numbers we are taking. If you take suppose say under root 3 and under root 7, if you want to subtract that. Now root 3 minus root 7, this is irrational. Is it or not? It is. It will be irrational number. But as we took the example in addition, the sum, suppose you take 4 minus under root 2 and the second number is say let it be 5 minus under root 2. Now if you take the difference of these two, if you are taking the difference here now, what is the difference? 4 minus under root 2. Now because you are taking difference, there is a sign of minus outside. So when you remove the brackets, when you solve the brackets, what you will get? You will get minus 5 plus under root 2. Where root 2 and root 2 plus minus they are cancelled out. 4 minus 5 is equal to minus 1. Now this minus 1, what type of number it is? It is a rational number. So you can see here that when we are taking the difference, when we are subtracting two irrational numbers, the result or the difference may be irrational and it can also be rational. Now if I move ahead to product, product of two irrational numbers. Let's say we have the irrational numbers say under root 2 and on the other side you have under root 3. Now what about the product? Product means to multiply. Now if you are multiplying under root 2 and under root 3, what result do you get? It will be under root 6. If suppose you have 2 under root 3 multiplied 5 under root 7. What about this? Here how will you multiply? You will multiply 2 with 5 and under root 3 with under root 7. So it is written like this: 2 multiply 5 and multiply under root 3 multiply under root 7. So what is the result you get? you get it as 10 under root 21. Now here are the two examples which I have taken. What does it show? That if you multiply two irrational numbers, the product is irrational. Here the product is irrational. But the question arises, can the product of these two irrational numbers, any two irrational number, also be rational? If it is, then just let us have some more examples. Let's see. If suppose you have given, say, 2 under root 6, and you multiply this, say, by under root 24. Now what is under root 24? How it can be written? Under root 24, you can factorize 24. It is 2 multiply 2 multiply 2 multiply 3. Here, because this is a sign of square root, you have one pair of 2 multiply 2, one pair of 2 is there, and it can be written 2 under root 6 multiply 2 under root 6. This pair which is formed will move out of the square root, and 2 will be taken out, and the numbers, the factors which do not form the pair, they will be inside the square root. Now if you multiply these two, multiplying in the same way, 2 will be multiplied with 2, and under root 6 will be multiplied with under root 6. So 2 multiplied 2 gives you 4, and under root 6 when multiplied by under root 6, it gives you under root 36. Now square root of 36, we know that 36 is a perfect square, so it is 4 multiply 6. So what is the final product? 24. Now what is it? 24. Is it rational or irrational? It is a rational. And simple examples if you want to take, it can be, say, 3 under root 5 multiplied by 2 under root 5. So 3 multiplied 2 and under root 5 multiplied under root 5. So 3 to the 6 multiplied by, now under root 5 multiplied under root 5 is under root 25, and again 25 is a perfect square, so we have the square root of 25 as 5. So you can write under root 5 multiply under root 5 as 5, and 6 5s are 30. So again, if you see here, this is a rational number. So here it is clear that the product of two irrational numbers again can be a rational number, and it can also be a rational number. Now let us move to the last part, that is the division. Can you tell me what will be the division? What you are expecting, whether it will be the product of the division of two irrational numbers, will it be rational or it will be irrational? Let's just take the examples. Say you want to divide root 12, under root 12 by under root, say, 3. Now under root 12 is also irrational, under root 3 is also irrational. Now what about their division? It is under root 12 divided by under root 3, which can be written as under root 12 upon 3. And 12 divided by 3, it is 4, so it is under root 4, and square root of 4 is 2. So if you see here, the division, when you divide two irrational numbers, we get a rational number. But what if you are dividing under root 3 by under root 5, which is under root 3 upon under root 5, gives you square root of under root 3 upon under root 5. Now what about this? This is an irrational number. So again it is here that depending upon the type of the number which we have, the rational, if we divide two irrational numbers, the quotient can be irrational and it can also be rational. So this was some of the basic, say, properties of irrational numbers. Now, here one example for irrational number is pi. Though other irrational numbers are there are many more examples, but we say that pi is also an irrational number. Now here you may ask me that, sir, why pi is irrational? We take that pi is equal to 22 upon 7. And when you say it is 22 upon 7, 22 and 7 both are integers, it is in the form p upon q, then pi should be irrational. Sorry, pi should be rational. But actually pi is not rational, it is an irrational number. Now let me explain you why. What is it? Pi is actually defined as the ratio of circumference of the circle and its diameter. So pi is the ratio of circumference of the circle by its diameter. And when we find the value of this, it is not exactly 22 upon 7. This value which is there, we are just taking it as equal to, but it is not actually equal to 22 upon 7, but it is approximately equal to 22 upon 7. So it is not exactly. The actual thing is, the actual situation is that pi is approximately equal to 22 upon 7. Now why this approximation value is taken? So that when we are calculating the things, it becomes a little bit easy for us. So that is why it is taken pi equals to 22 upon 7, but actually it is not equal to 22 upon 7, but it is approximately 22 upon 7. Otherwise, the actual value, the exact value of pi which is there, it is taken as irrational number. Though when we are taking the ratio of the circumference of the circle and the diameter, we get the particular value, but there is some in decimals. Now when we will study about the decimal representation of the rational and irrational number, at that time it will be clear to you what is the main difference in that. Okay, so let us move ahead. Now before going further, there is one more part which is to be taken here in between, that is how to locate the irrational numbers on a number line. Locating the irrational numbers on number line. Now you suppose you are given a line and you are asked to locate under root 2. Where does this lie on the number? So locating it, there is a geometrical construction by which we can locate it on a number line. So I'll just explain you the steps how it is to be done. Take a line and mark a point, say O, which represents 0 on the number line. What we have done? We have taken a line, we have marked a point O which represents 0 on the number line. Okay. Next step, mark another point A which represents 1 on the number line. In order to represent this under root 2 on a number line, we are going to use the Pythagoras theorem, the Pythagorean theorem which is there, the property of a right angled triangle, which says the square of the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of square of the other two sides. So using that, we will be locating this under root 2 on the number line. So what we have done is, we have taken 2 points O and A on the line, where O represents 0, A represents 1. Now our next step is, at this point A, you are going to draw a perpendicular on this. You will be drawing a perpendicular. And the perpendicular should be of what length? it should be of the unit length. Here we are taking A at point 1, means this distance of OA, it is a unit length. Same length will be for A and B. We are going to draw a perpendicular on the line at point A, that is BA, where BA is of unit length. Now here, join this OB. Now if you see here, this is a right angle triangle which is formed, and in this, as per the Pythagoras theorem or the Bode theorem, OB squared, this is the hypotenuse. The side which lies opposite to the right angle is considered as hypotenuse. So square of OB, that is the square of hypotenuse, equals to sum of the square of other two sides. So the other two sides are OA and AB. So OB square is equal to OA square plus AB square. Now as per the measurements, if you calculate it, what is the length of OA? It is 1 unit. What is the length of AB? It is also 1 unit. So OB squared equals to 1 plus 1. OB squared equals to 2. And if OB squared is equal to 2, then OB is equal to square root of 2. So this side of this triangle, that is the hypotenuse OB, what does it measure? The length of it, it is under root 2. Now after doing this much, what we have to do is take your compass, place it at point O, take this as the center, O as center, and take OB as the radius. After taking OB as the radius, what you will do is, from here, you are going to draw an arc which intersects the line L, say at point C. So this point C represents under root 2 on the number line. So this is how you can locate under root 2 on a number line. Now if you want to suppose locate under root 3 on the number line, then what to do? In the same figure we will continue it. Means in order to locate under root 3, first this part will be there, then we will move ahead. On this hypotenuse OB, here at point B, you are going to again draw a perpendicular. You will draw a perpendicular at point B, and of what length? The same unit length. You are going to draw BD as the perpendicular of unit length. Now when you draw this of unit length and join OD. Now if you join OD, you again get a right angle triangle, that is triangle OBD. Now here if you again use the Pythagoras theorem, then what you have? The hypotenuse in this triangle is OD, so it will be OD squared equals to OB squared plus BD squared. If you further simplify it, calculate, find the value of OD. It is OB, the length is under root 2, so it is square of under root 2 plus BD is of 1 unit length, square of 1. So square of OD is equal to 2. Now square of under root 2. When you are taking the square of under root 2, it is under root 2 multiplied under root 2. And under root 2 multiplied under root 2 gives you 2. Reason? When you multiply under root 2 with under root 2, it is under root 4. Square root of 4. And 4 is a perfect square number, so square root of 4 gives us 2. So square of under root 2 is equal to 2 plus square of 1 is 1. Now OD squared equals to 3. So OD is equal to under root 3. So here the measure of this length line segment OD is equal to under root 3. Now in order to locate it on the number line, what we will do? We will again place our compass on the point O, that is take O as the center and take OD as the radius. Taking this OD as radius, what we will do is we will draw an arc which intersects line L, say at point E. Now this point E represents under root 3. So this is how you locate the irrational numbers on a number line. Now here, if suppose you are asked to locate under root 5 on the number line, then now under root 5 what you can do is take a line, again locate that point O on the line which represents 0. Now this time locating point A in such a way that A represents 2 on the number line. That is, you have to take OA as the length having 2 units and then draw the perpendicular at point A, but this time the length of the perpendicular will be only 1 unit. So what we have done here, we have taken OA as 2 units and AB is taken as 1 unit, and after this join OB. Now when you do this, again you have a right angle triangle OAB. Now in this right angle triangle, again find the length of the hypotenuse. You just cross check yourself what length will it be. OB square equals to OA squared plus AB squared. This is by using the Bodhayan theorem, that is the Pythagoras theorem. So OB squared equals to, now OA, what is the length of it? It is 2 units. So it is square of 2 plus square of 1. So OB squared equals to 4 plus 1, or say OB squared equals to 5 and OB is equal to square root of 5. So what is the length of this OB now? It is square root of 5. So you have the measurement of OB as under root 5. Now what you will do? We will locate this point B on the line. So do the same, taking O as the center, OB as the radius, draw an arc intersecting the line, say at point C, then C represents under root 5. So this is how we locate the irrational numbers on a number line. In the same way we can continue it. If suppose under root 6 is to be done, then what you will do? You will take a perpendicular on OB of 1 unit, join OD, you will again form a right angle triangle where OB is under root 5, BD is 1. Using the Pythagoras theorem, calculate OD. When you calculate it, you will get it as under root 6. Then bring that to the number line. This is say point E. This represents under root 6. Under root 7, again you can do it, continue here itself. Again have a perpendicular on this. OD, say this is point F, again of 1 unit. Join OF, you again get a right angle triangle and the length of this will be under root 7. So from here it can be again located on the number line. Similarly under root 8 can be continued further. Then under root 9, if you talk about under root 9, it is 3. So that is already a rational number, it is there. So similarly we can go ahead. So this is what we have there for today. We will continue next about the decimal representation of irrational numbers and rational numbers. Till then, have a nice day. Thank you.